Introduction. Do you believe in coincidences or signs? In 2002, M. Night Shyamalan released Signs, a film that at first glance seemed like just another alien invasion story, but quickly revealed itself to be much more than that. Between mysterious crop circles, menacing creatures, and a family struggling to survive amidst the chaos, the film becomes a powerful metaphor for faith, chance, and the hidden meanings we give to life's events. Today we'll delve deep into this intriguing work, revisiting its story from beginning to end and exploring its symbolic, philosophical, and even conspiratorial layers. Prepare to see Signs in a different way, not just as an alien thriller, but as a reflection on spirituality, destiny, and the human struggle to find meaning in the unknown. Full synopsis, spoiler alert. Graham Hess is a former pastor who lives on a farm in Pennsylvania with his two young sons, Morgan and Bo, and his younger brother, Merrill. Since his wife's tragic death in a car accident, Graham has abandoned his priesthood and lost his faith, living solely to care for his family. Merrill, a former baseball player who failed to pursue a professional career, lives with them to help with day-to-day life. Bo, the youngest daughter, reveals a peculiar habit. She scatters glasses of water around the house, saying each one tastes strange or is contaminated. Morgan, meanwhile, suffers from asthma, and this worries Graham, who struggles to keep his children calm amid the growing tension. One day, the family's routine is disrupted when they find mysterious geometric markings in the cornfield. Initially, they believe it's a prank by neighbors or vandals, but the size and precision of the drawings soon indicate something unusual. The air of mystery deepens when the family dog begins acting aggressively, a sign that something truly strange is happening nearby. One night, Graham hears noises on the roof and, along with Merrill, tries to chase an intruder. The figure, too agile to be human, leaps over them and disappears into the fields. Meanwhile, news reports begin to surface that similar circles have appeared in various parts of the world, sparking speculation about their origin. The local sheriff tries to calm the family, suggesting they're just pranks or revenge by someone in the community, but the family begins to suspect something out of the ordinary. Later, Graham visits Ray, a distraught neighbor who confesses to being responsible for the accident that killed his wife. Ray also believes he's trapped an alien in his pantry and advises Graham not to open the door. Curious, Graham uses a knife as a mirror to peer under the door and eventually sees the creature. As he tries to approach, the alien's hand suddenly appears, and Graham cuts off two of its fingers to escape. Meanwhile, the family follows television reports of increasing UFO sightings in various regions of the planet, including amateur footage of an alien filmed during a party in Brazil. The entire world panics. Morgan, studying books about extraterrestrials, begins to believe they are about to be attacked. Graham and Merrill debate whether to flee or stay on the farm. Ultimately, they decide to stay together and prepare. They barricade the doors and windows with wooden planks and, before the attack, share a tense last meal. Morgan asks his father to pray, but Graham, still resentful of God, refuses. The argument leads to an emotional confrontation but ends with a group hug. That night, the house was surrounded. Unable to contain the invasion, the family takes refuge in the basement. During the attack, Morgan suffers an asthma attack and is nearly captured by one of the creatures, but barely survives. Graham, desperate, fights with God in prayer, expressing his anger and grief over the loss of his wife. The next morning, the aliens appear to retreat, and the radio reports that most of the invasion has been contained. However, upon returning to the living room, they discover that one of the aliens hasn't left. This one is the same one Graham had wounded earlier. The creature captures Morgan and attempts to release a venom through her wrists. At that moment, Graham remembers his wife's last words before she died, "Hit hard," which until then had seemed meaningless. He realizes it was some kind of signal. Graham orders Merrill to use the baseball bat hanging on the wall to attack. His brother obeys and strikes the alien repeatedly. During the fight, several cups of water left by Bo fall on the creature, revealing that its species is vulnerable to the liquid. The alien's skin burns on contact, giving Merrill the chance to defeat it. Morgan, poisoned, survives because his asthma attack prevented him from fully inhaling the toxin. With the danger averted, Graham realizes that all the elements that seemed like mere coincidences, his son's asthma, his daughter's obsession with water, Merrill's baseball talent, and his wife's dying words, aligned to save his family. He takes these events as signs that they were not alone. The former pastor regains his faith and takes up his priesthood again, ready to resume his spiritual life. Theories and reflections. Faith versus chance. The film's core lies in the existential dilemma of Graham, a man who lost his faith after the death of his wife. He sees life as a sequence of cruel and purposeless coincidences. The alien invasion, in this context, is not just a physical challenge, but a metaphor for his spiritual struggle. Faced with the inexplicable, is there a greater order guiding events, or is it all pure chance? This tension between faith and skepticism is reinforced in Shyamalan's narrative choices. Every seemingly banal detail, Beau's obsession with water, Morgan's asthma, Meryl's frustrated career, becomes essential to survival. For believers, this is a sign of divine providence. For skeptics, it's simply an unlikely sequence of coincidences. The viewer is invited to decide which group they fall into. The intimacy of terror. While most alien invasion movies focus on big battles, huge ships, and governments reacting, Signs chooses the opposite path. The entire plot is told from the perspective of an ordinary family, isolated on a farm. There are no generals or scientists trying to explain the phenomenon, just ordinary people trying to survive the longest night of their lives. This brings the audience closer and heightens the sense of vulnerability. The terror here isn't built on explosions or excessive special effects, but on small details, noises on the rooftop, the silhouette in the cornfield, the reflection on the knife blade. This minimalist approach is one of the film's greatest triumphs, transforming a science fiction plot into an intimate drama, exploring the fear of the unknown in a much more palpable and realistic way. The symbolism of water. The choice of water as the aliens' weakness generated much criticism, considered forced or even absurd. After all, why would a species vulnerable to water attempt to colonize a planet 70% covered in this element? However, interpreting it beyond scientific logic, water symbolizes purity, rebirth, and faith. The girl's habit of rejecting impure cups ultimately reveals itself to be a sign that there is something sacred in the seemingly meaningless everyday. Thus, water serves as a spiritual metaphor. It is the simple, vital, and omnipresent resource that becomes a weapon against evil. While on the one hand this explanation may sound like deus ex machina, on the other hand, reinforces the film's message that even weaknesses and quirks can carry a greater purpose. It's faith reinterpreting coincidences as miracles. The fragility of invaders. An intriguing aspect is how the aliens are portrayed. Unlike the stereotype of superior, unbeatable beings, they appear disorganized, almost desperate. They are shown alone, making mistakes, falling into simple traps. This contrasts with genre expectations and suggests that they may not be powerful conquerors, but a species in decline, seeking survival at any cost. This narrative choice, in a way, humanizes the extraterrestrials themselves. They cease to be an invincible threat and become a mirror of humanity itself, fragile, vulnerable, trying to survive in a hostile universe. The struggle between humans and aliens, thus, loses its grandiose, interplanetary war character and transforms into something more intimate and philosophical, a reflection on the condition of all life forms. Aliens as demons and crop circles as summoning rituals. There's a line of thought shared by some theorists that associates the figure of aliens with that of demons present in religious traditions. According to this view, so-called extraterrestrial beings are not inhabitants of other planets, but hostile spiritual entities that have always been on Earth in different forms, adapting to the culture of each era. In ancient times, they were seen as fallen angels, evil spirits, or pagan gods. In the modern era, with the advancement of science and technology, they have come to be interpreted as visitors from other worlds. Interestingly, at the beginning of the film, Morgan, looking at the symbols in the crops, wonders if they might be the work of the gods. The symbolic connection with signs and crop circles are intriguing. In esoteric and occult traditions, demonic invocations are often made through symbols drawn on the ground, especially the pentagram, used in both protection and evocation rituals. The logic would be that geometry carries power, functioning as a gateway to spiritual entities. Similarly, crop circles, enormous geometric patterns mysteriously appearing in crops, could be interpreted not as ship markings, but as ritual seals, signs of the presence or even invocation of these entities. Rather than symbols left by space travelers, they could be inscriptions left by evil forces, a way of signing or marking territory. This demonological reading also dialogues with the aliens' own vulnerability in signs. Contrary to the image of invincible beings, they appear fragile and chaotic, acting more like spiritual parasites than rational conquerors. This reinforces the idea that they don't seek technology or scientific domination, but rather control, fear, and sacrifice, exactly as described in many accounts of demonic possessions and attacks. In this sense, the film can be read as an allegory. The aliens are supposedly modern demons, summoned not by pentagrams but by gigantic crop circles, reflecting how this ancient symbolism continues to manifest itself in contemporary culture. Conclusion. In Signs, M. Night Shyamalan shows us that the true mystery lies not just in aliens or crop circles, but in how we interpret life's events. Between faith and chance, between divine signs and simple coincidences, the film invites us to reflect on how even the most painful moments can carry an unexpected purpose. This is the film's greatest strength, transforming an alien invasion into an intimate metaphor for spirituality, fear, hope, and family unity. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive future videos. Also, share it with your friends who enjoy films that blend suspense, science fiction, and deep reflections. This way, you help us grow and continue bringing you more content like this. See you in the next video?